Welcome to another episode of URC Chance Podcast. I've got my fellow, let's call them brothers this week, uh, Jacques and Dara. Yes, Jacques, let's start with you with that look. Your brothers in arms. We were talking about World War One and cutting off certain provinces of Ireland. So,
Leinster.
I I'm speechless,
but how
but
are you
it's all
doing?
good.
Oh,
I'm fantastic. I'm actually going to visit my parents a bit this weekend. Long
Oh,
drive for
that's
three
lekker.
days, but I'm
Oh,
going to enjoy it, have fun, just chill. Yeah, so I'm all good.
yeah. And you,
How are
Dara,
you?
how are you doing? I'm good. And Dara,
well, actually, speaking of World War One, that's what I was doing my school history project on. It's what I've
oh, is
chosen
that
to
why
do it
you were
on.
saying? Oh, so
On the
that's why you were
bat
talking about digging
on the
trenches.
Battle of Verdun. I'm actually doing it on the Battle of Verdun, so I think that can be used as a testimony to get Leinster out of the country because they betrayed the country and should be hung for high treason. But I suppose we'll get into that. Other than that,
Just
I'm
so
quite
you
good.
know, we'll bring that up later. But yes, before we get into the URC, we do have to discuss the final of the quarters and everything like that. I will be honest, I didn't watch much of the Challenge Cup. I did watch a little bit. I went fishing, so yes. Um, yeah, but let's start off with the Challenge Cup regarding the Bulls. First of all, Dara, you're probably going to be very happy with this. That the Bulls
I
literally threw
I
away.
actually didn't care.
Uh,
I just hope the Bulls lose this weekend. So, like, I didn't actually particularly care what the result was last weekend because the Challenge Cup is a Mickey Mouse tournament anyway. So,
uh,
I just cared
uh,
about the result this weekend.
okay.
And yeah, typical Bulls faction. They made a
Yeah,
balls of it.
yeah, and I mean, Devin, I was watching 10, 20 minutes of it, and Devin Williams had a penalty, which he didn't kick out. But the chasing of the ball was subpar. I mean, there was an opportunity for them to score a try. I think it was 38 minutes where Devin Williams did kick it out and it bounced and Darcy kind of half volleyed it. I can't remember who went running onto it, didn't get the pickup, but they managed to kick it out and literally where they took the penalty from is where they got the line out.
Yeah, well, like in the first half, I know the Bulls and I think the Bulls they scored one try. They couldn't score in a particular place that I can't say on because this video will get taken down. They had so much of the ball and a lot of the ball in the opposition 22 in the first 40, couldn't score, butchered chance after chance, and just conceded every time the Edinburgh got up close to the line. In the second half, Edinburgh scored again, kind of took the game out of reach, and then the Bulls woke up and dominated. Didn't do enough to win because they were ill disciplined. They let Edinburgh kick enough points off the tee to win. And as I said, they had so much of the ball in that first half and ball in dangerous positions and bottled it essentially every time they got close enough to the line. They dropped it or they did something stupid and lost the ball. And that's ultimately what lost them the match.
But I mean, unfortunately, I have to say this. It seems to be a South African Union thing. I mean, the Sharks have done it a few times. We've done it a few times. We've woken up when it's a bit too late, especially with these teams away. But yeah, let's move on. Then we've also got Ospreys versus Leon, where the Ospreys unfortunately didn't come on top. I actually didn't
Yeah.
watch that game, but I mean, it looks close.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean the defense of Leon won the game. Leon's defense was outstanding. Osprey should have won. Edwards missed a kick to bring it to extra time from a conversion at the very death. But yeah, Ospreys could be left through that one. They were
mhm.
probably better, just couldn't break Leon down. Couldn't. Leon weren't ill disciplined, so they couldn't just kick penalties and they couldn't break them down traditionally, really. So they've a lot to be disappointed about. And they would have been home again in the semi-finals, so they would have really backed themselves. But yeah,
Yeah. Then a game that I watched another little bit in between. Connacht. I think I watched the last 20 minutes or so. Connacht not being able to come on top of a 12-man, or not 12, 13 to 14-man Racing.
bottled is an understatement. 18 points up at home with Racing having a red card to not win is embarrassing. Like Racing have that star quality. There's no doubt. When you've got a team with Owen Farrell, Nolan De Garrick, Joshua Tuisova in just the backs, but they bottled us. They clearly bottled us. As I said, 18 points up, got a penalty try, red card. Yes, they lost two of their backs and they went with 6-2, which again works against you. People were out of position. Was not good enough. The defense is not good enough. The attack is good. Connacht's attack is good. They scored some very nice tries. Ben Murphy probably with the pick of the bunch towards the end, where he ran through five Racing defenders, but not good enough. Their best players didn't stand up. Mac Hansen was very poor. Ioane was poor until he went off injured. They were just rudderless, leadershipless, didn't know what to do when Racing woke up at the end of the first half and had a 25, 30-minute period either side of half time where I think Racing scored three tries and Connacht scored none.
Yeah.
Game went out of their control.
And then there seemed to be a period where Connacht turned on at the end, again, a little too late, but Racing was able to hold them off. I mean, even to the point where Farrell had to go off for the last 5 minutes due to a yellow card. Didn't manage to hold on. But then quickly moving on, the one game that isn't on the list is Bath versus Gloucester. I saw the score at a point. I was like, Bath is going through. Oh, well, I'm turning off. So, I mean, that was it.
Bath.
I mean, yeah.
Bath just owned that derby. The West Country derby, Bath just seemed to batter Gloucester every time they play. So,
yeah. And I mean, over here, you can see who's going up against who. So we've got Lyon versus Racing, and we have Edinburgh and Bath. So, but we'll cover that again at a later stage when it's back into this. But that is the setup. Then we have the road to Cardiff, the semi-finals or the quarterfinals. We had Leinster absolutely destroy Glasgow. I watched this, and Glasgow to a point looked like they were fighting and then just looked like they gave up. Leinster now 2 weeks in a row have held their opposition to 0, which is something that mustn't be taken lightly.
I mean, Leinster have to be favourites after that game to win the Heineken Cup. Glasgow were awful. I mean, they were good. The Hastings yellow card ended the game 14 minutes in, or however long it was, 20 minutes in. And Leinster just ran riot, scored try after try. As you say, Glasgow gave up, which is no use to anybody. I suppose the only thing that could stop Leinster now is the fact that those games will have done them no good in terms of winning by that margin does you no good, doesn't improve you, doesn't challenge you. That's the point that they could play a very good Northampton side in the semi-finals and come unstuck, or they definitely have a game of it in the final if they get there to play board over Toulouse. But Leinster, Jordie Barrett as well. That guy he's a different breed. He's a class operator.
But then, again, that I take it you don't really want to discuss Bordeaux.
I will. I mean, we didn't wake up. We didn't play like the Bulls. We just didn't play in the first half. We were awful. The line-outs. I think we lost 10 line-outs in a single game. We just couldn't win the line-out, so we lost all field position with it. We won a load of penalties because Bordeaux are shockingly ill-disciplined. but we just could do nothing with it because you can't run it from your own half, and if you can't win your line out, there's no point. So we were poor in that, very poor in that regard. Defense was poor for one or two of the tries. Got a try just before half time, and then
8 lineouts, by the
shipped
way.
another 8 lineouts. Yeah, shipped one straight back. Second half, far better side. Some positives. Some of the backs were very good. I thought Tom Farrell, Sean O'Brien, Andrew Smith scored a lovely try. Two lovely tries where he left the full back for dead twice. But I didn't see an issue with our physicality, really. I thought we were okay physically wise. Poor defending and the line
Set
out were the
pieces.
reasons.
Yeah,
Well,
the
not
set
really.
pieces.
It was only just the line out. The scrum was fine. The scrum was fifth. It was even. I don't think we gave up a single scrum penalty, maybe one.
I'll
But
double check now.
yeah, we didn't give up a whole
No,
rake of scrum penalties anyway. It was
you guys only had
even.
2 scrums the whole game, though.
Yeah, but still, the scrum isn't the issue. The line out was.
Mm.
And as I said, a couple of poor defending individual errors. Yeah, the whole defense system at Munster isn't great. I suppose you critique something. We concede way too many points. Uh, that's down to the defense coach. He's a bit out of his depth, but our attack looks fairly decent in the second half. But the reason I don't think Bordeaux will win it is because they're too well disciplined. They got
Yeah,
three yellow cards and a red because the
2.
red from 2 yellows.
Oh,
Was it
okay.
not two? Was it not three? Because one of the
Uh,
yellows was second red yellow.
Obviously, looking at the thing here, because it got upgraded for the second one, they made it 1 red
Yeah. Well,
on the stats
yeah,
I'm looking at.
because that red could have been a red on its own as well because he just clotheslined Tom Farrell. He just stuck his arm out. Farrell's head went in underneath us. But yeah, they're too ill disciplined and they get tired. I mean, Bordeaux are unbelievable in the first half, but a Leinster or Toulouse can hold them out and be 5 points behind at half time. They could just dominate them and batter them in the second half.
Then looking at it, Northampton's coming up on top against Castres Olympic. I didn't really watch the game. I didn't really see anything from the game. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Then probably, yeah.
Yeah, Northampton were good. The first half was even. I think it was level at half time, maybe a point in it. And Cass
Yeah.
didn't come out for the second half, and Northampton ran in 3 quick tries. And like Glasgow, Casper just dropped the head, and Northampton started messing with them, Pollock and Mitchell. That's the thing with Northampton is they've great backs, but I don't think they have the forwards to win it. Like Mitchell, Finn Smith, George Furbank, George Hendy, Dingwall, Hutchinson. They've got very good backs, and Tommy Freeman. They've got really good backs. They're lacking a bit up front. Like when they went out to Victoria, I don't know how they won that game because they gave up an ungodly amount from penalties.
Yeah.
But the backs are very good.
Then probably the game of the weekend, I have to say, watching it,
Definitely.
going back and forth the whole time. Toulon going down in the final seconds to Toulouse. Though, I will be honest, the kicking performance from Ramos was below subpar from him.
Yeah, he was. But in Kirby, in his defence, that's usually he'd miss that amount of kicks in about 4 matches, not one. He missed a couple of saucers. He missed a couple of sitters of kicks. I actually thought the last one was drifting wide as well, but it just curled back in.
Yeah.
But this match, it felt like a test match, didn't it? The physicality of it felt like a test match.
I will be honest. I did think of it that way. I think it was very well done. I do think the ref, Cole Dickinson, actually held the game perfectly. There was an incident that happened the one way, then it happened the other way. Yeah,
Matthew
and then he then called them both together. He said, "You guys have done it. You guys have done it. That's it. Next one is penalized. I don't care. It's end of story." There was even a situation where he still marched, I think, Toulouse back 10 because they were talking to the ref after a penalty had been given. He made sure that it didn't explode. And considering how
Carly's a great ref. Carly's great.
yeah.
Toulouse, I suppose, had that purple patch when Baptiste Serran was off the pitch and they scored 2 tries, and that's what won them the game. But that's the danger of Toulouse, is they can win a game in 10 minutes. And they did, because Marchand got over and Jack Willis got over. And yeah, I thought their game management was poor. They gave a couple of easy penalties for Jaminet. But you have to be heartbroken for Villiers. How's that happen to you in the last minute where you drop an easy enough ball to take and then get turned over by Jack Willis? I think it was. It's brutal. Yeah. It's a brutal way to end the quarterfinal. But yeah, Toulouse are dangerous because they're still in it. And it could be one of those cases of the team had the chance to knock them out, and they haven't, and now they could just go and put 2 games together like that and just go up 15 gears if they had to.
Yeah, and I mean, Toulon still had a few players off, like the likes of
well, you could say they missed Charles Olivon is a big loss because he's a world-class operator. But then again, you can put Dupont and who was the other? Yeah, they were missing a couple. I know they missed Dupont anyway. They're missing Chocobares, and they missed 2 or 3 big players for Toulouse were out as well. That especially in their backs, that if they had been there, there could have been a different story the other way.
No, I don't know what it is, but Garbisi looked so much better than he has in a while. For me, he's probably one of the most improved fly halves in the world right now. The way he played there for Toulon was fantastic. The fact that they didn't let him take the kicks is unfortunate for him. But
at the same time, Jaminet is one of the best kickers in the Northern Hemisphere, and he went 6 for 6. But Garbisi and Jaminet won the kicking battle by a million times over. Ntamak and Ramos and Goethes could not compete with them on the kicking front. But where they won it was, as I said, that 10-minute period where Toulon couldn't get the ball off them. And in just sheer desperation in the breakdown, they were quite good as well. Because they have those jackal threats of Jack Willis and Romat and Flamont, and they can get these guys over your ball. And they have the carrying threats of the likes of Miafu, Flamont, and Roma, and Cross, and all these guys are just so good at carrying and so big and so hard to stop. So they kind of won it up front, but the Toulon backs were better than the Toulouse ones.
The one player that I do think is very underrated and everything is Kinghorn. And
definitely.
He looks like he's putting no effort in, and I would love to see what it would look like if it looked like he was putting effort in, because I think he would be probably one of the most dangerous players in the back line, because he can play 10, he can play wing, he can play center, he can play fullback. I mean, if he was in South Africa, Rassie would definitely be having him in the setup.
Yeah, well, he's such a good running threat because he's big and he's not the quickest in the world, but he's big. He's 6'3" or 4". He's a big man. He's a big unit. He's hard for a back to stop, and he's got an unbelievable kick in him. Like, he took the kicks at a point last year in the Heineken Cup final and didn't miss one. So he's great under the high ball as well, because, as I said, him being 6'3", 6'4" means he has that advantage over most backs. Yeah, there's a reason he's in Toulouse at the end of the day. Toulouse don't have you if you're a deadbeat waster. Like, there's a reason he's there, is because he's a world-class player. And yeah, as you said, maybe if he looked like he could put in a bit more botheredness, which I'd say he is. Maybe he's one of these players that looks kind of effortless while doing it, but maybe they are putting in 100%. But if he can go up another gear, that's scary, because he was actually decent on Sunday. But yeah, he's a dangerous player, Kinghorn.
All right, but then now that that's over, we move back to URC. and we have this to start the episode off for the URC.
Striding away to victory! Under Esterhazen. And certainly as destructive. What a try again. Easy core for the corner. It's a clutch play from Benetton.
The race for the top 8 is going on. This is the standings as is of after round 14 before this weekend. But yeah, I mean, here's the stat that right now 15 teams are still in the race. So that means everyone up until Zebra is still in there. Unfortunately,
But
8
Zebra
playoff
are,
spots.
it's just the Dragons aren't really.
Yeah. I mean, as it says, 4 points separate 6th to 13th place. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's like 1-2 games and you back in the top, depending on. And then, of course, 3 teams are tied on 36, and that being Cardiff, Edinburgh, and Benetton. With the Stormers, who are just 1 point behind there, and Ulster, who is 1 point ahead, and yourself being 3 points ahead of them right now. And, of course, we still have 4 rounds to go. And, I mean, that's anything from 0 to 20 points up for grabs in the next 4 weeks to come. Anyway, then here we go. We have the list of the games going off, all in BST time. So for those of us here in South Africa, that's an hour beforehand. So yeah, we first start off on Friday, Good Friday. Let's hope it's a Good Friday for the Sharks.
Let's hope not.
Though, looking at the stats over there at the top, in the past 4 games, the Sharks have won 3, 1 which was away. Edinburgh's only won 1 game away with the Sharks, and that was probably last year when they were doing so bad. So it is anybody's game right now. Then
I think,
on Saturday,
yeah, the advantage the Sharks will have in that game is not having played last week, whereas Edinburgh did.
and they got the likes of Etzebeth back. What?
Just because they're rested doesn't mean that it's going to give them an advantage.
But theoretically, it should.
We're not playing rugby theoretically, we're playing physically.
So the Sharks are shy, is what you're saying.
I think they're going to lose.
I hope you're right, because it would help Munster.
I hope I'm wrong, but you see, like I always say to people, I haven't done all my rugby courses to support the Bulls or the Stormers or something. I think I know a little bit of rugby, just, I don't know, very little bit. But
Tiny bit.
my gut feeling is usually right, and I think we're going to lose.
I agree with Shaw, sadly. I have to predict the Sharks win. I have to predict the Sharks win.
I
can't hear him
hear
either.
Kirby saying anything.
I can't hear him either.
I don't know. I'm just mimicking hand signals.
Yeah, so what I was saying is you have the likes
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Sorry, my mic died. You got the likes of Etzebeth, Williams, Esterhazen, and Fussy back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Edinburgh do still have a strong team.
No, we'll see. Let's see what happens.
Then we got Jacques' father-in-law, or future father-in-law, with his team hosting Benetton, who is above them in the rankings.
Yeah, Lions win at home. Lions win.
I mean, I actually have Reno Smith is back and everything like that. And I saw there's a whole article. He's probably one of the best non-international players in world rugby right now. Didn't read the whole article, but that was the headline.
I actually would like to agree with that. Because I think ever since he moved over, his rugby improved heavy.
Yeah. Then we go here to Cape Town at
Connacht with 15.
No, I'm actually going to say Stormers. One, because Connacht played a game last week. Now they are out. Aki, Hansen, Blade, Ioane, Hurley, Lofton, Buckley, and Tracy.
Yeah, the Stormers will win. Connacht are, unfortunately, Connacht are bottom jobs. They battled the game against Munster and they battled the one last week, and they're not going to win without that list of names.
And the fact that they've got so many injuries on the thing, and two of the injuries came from this past week alone. And now they just traveled here. If they do win,
they got 4 injuries against Racing.
Yeah.
Only 2 of them went off during the game, but 2 of them have been ruled out since.
Yes. So, and it's all from breaks to twists to shoulder and everything like that. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to have to go Stormers, not just because I'm a Stormers fan, but also if you look at our record, we've played 4 times, 2 of them at home, which we won, 1 away, and they've beaten us only once away. Well, for us away, so for them at home. But then we go and have a Welsh derby of Ospreys versus Cardiff.
Ospreys.
Yeah, I was about to say, Ospreys on paper look like they should win. And, I mean, Ospreys are 3 positions below with 3 points. So this could be the game that jumps them past each other.
So, yes, the only way I could see Cardiff winning is if that administration news will have really got the players going for this one. And they really put in an extra special performance. But I still think the Ospreys will win.
And then we got Munster hosting the Bulls, not at the Bulls, hosting the Bulls.
Finally, you get to go to another sports match. It's been 3 weeks. It's been way too long.
I'm going to have to say Munster is going to end the stampede.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I've never been so happy for the Bulls to win when they won down in Bayonne, because it meant they would play a game last week, which would help us because I knew they'd put out their first team. We need to win, not just if we want to finish 4th. If we want to finish in the top 8, we have to win, and I think we will. Yeah, it'll be a lot closer than I joke about. We won't win by 30, maybe 29, but we'll win.
And then maybe we'll have Jacques' girlfriend.
For the first time in the history of my rugby career, with my rugby knowledge that I've got, the Bulls are going to beat Munster by at least 11 points.
Okay.
Can we have your girlfriend on next week? So either Dora giving her a comment or her giving him a comment.
I actually sent her that voice note that he put on the group. She just put a laughing face.
I had just woken up when I said that as well. It wasn't clearly obvious.
Don't
yes,
worry.
It was.
We heard.
Yes, and then we're going on a little bit later for the Dragons hosting the Scarlets. We can call it already. Dragons are going down.
Scarlets. Yeah.
Then we're going to Irish derby.
Dragons by 1.
It's
against the Scarlets.
Being difficult. No. The Dragons are useless.
If you look at the stats, it's 6-4.
To the Scarlets' favour.
Yeah, it's a 50-50, right? It's 50. Dragons by 1.
The Dragons have won 1 match this season in all competitions.
It's going to be It's going to be the second one this weekend.
Okay.
I've got a gut feeling in my little toe on the left side.
On your little toe. That way we go to. Why if you go to the whole rugby thing, but clearly not a biology?
My
Anyway,
biology, let's go.
then we got another Irish derby over here with Leinster hosting Ulster. We might as well call it Leinster's going to win with a bonus point.
Ulster by 24.
Ulster
Leinster
beat
by
the
51.
They're gonna beat the traders, the national traders.
Is that with a score against them or with no score against them? Are they going to go for
24-0.
3 for 3?
51-0.
24-0 to Ulster.
They're the only team that has actually legitimately, like, completely and utterly, like, completed this whole season. I think they are one of the only teams. If I bring it up here, let me just pull this across. Yeah, I think they're one of the only teams to actually legit have all their that have made it through. They actually literally don't even need to play. They can send in the under 6 squad to play against everybody if they wanted to. I can't find it. I know there was a stat somewhere, but I'll probably put it up next week. I'll see there's an updated one. But yeah, that is that for the whole. We got Zebra versus Glasgow. Glasgow is going to beat Zebra, unless Zebra decides.
Zebra's gonna take it.
Oh God, there's not going to be. I'm going to get an angry message about that now. Thanks, Sean.
You can tell your girlfriend that I say Zebra. If they can beat Munster, now they must just do Glasgow as well.
Oh, God, we're still bringing that up. That happened months ago.
Oh, then you have something in common with your girlfriend.
Yeah, no, the Glasgow.
Then there's no machetes and guns and
10 wins to 0 at the bottom, by the way, to Glasgow. And look at the level, the scores in them. They're all by about 35 points.
Yeah,
but if you take the comparison, as Zebra beat Munster before this year?
Zebra beat Munster before this year? Yeah. They probably did. They did in 2013.
Is it me or does he sound more Scottish now?
Like I said to my rugby team on Thursday before we almost thrashed our first team. That's a story of its own. You see, Glasgow's here, Zebra's here. They can only go up.
You're a horrible inspirational speaker.
I'm a fantastic inspirational speaker.
Don't give up the day job for inspirational speaking.
Okay, but now let's look at it here. Here's Glasgow. There's Zebra.
See what I mean?
Let's go.
It's only up.
Well, no, because they can actually go down another place. They can go down another place, so it's actually not only up; it can go down as well.
Who? Glasgow?
Zebra can't go down.
Zebra can't go down.
Zebra can't go down.
27-9.
Technically, if the Dragons go on a big mad run and get 20 points for 20, and Zebra don't get a single point again, they can finish bottom.
If that happens, I am playing the lotto, and I'm playing the score line of the game.
To be fair, if you win the lotto, you win about €5. To be fair.
Oh no, not Jens Salary. It's like a couple of $100 million, which is probably like €2.
Yeah. 500 million rands. Right there.
We have to go to that country in. No, I'm thinking about a movie. Let's just forget about it.
Oh, but I mean, that's the week's coming. And I see Leinster has now become enemy number 1 of Ireland. Because
I'll dig it myself. I'll dig the trench myself.
because the player that turned around to probably the one most overrated legendary Irish player, said enjoy retirement after beating them in the quarterfinal of the Rugby World Cup. Rieko Ioane is coming to Leinster to replace Jordie Barrett next season. Dara's gone. He's done. He has no comment. He's gonna probably start digging that trench. As he said, he wants to take the Leinster part of Ireland and take him onto Wales. They can be a Wales.
Scumbag. Wales isn't far enough away. Make it part of Denmark or something.
Denmark.
Nah, that's too harsh. Well, I'm trying to think of a country I don't like. South Africa can have them.
South Africa.
Then they'll just become better because then they don't have to go far to get their players.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. RG Snyman.
Yep. Jacques Niebuhr.
Josh Van der Fleer.
He's a bit of
Josh Van der Fleer is Namibian.
No, he's actually from Holland.
His grandparents are actually Dutch.
Yeah.
Same place.
Yeah, exactly. Same level of development.
No, that's German. Namibia is German.
Same level of development. Namibia, Netherlands. South Africa.
They both have good beer. They both have good beer, so you can't argue that point.
Exactly.
Through that.
Never seen a windmill in Namibia, for sure. Look, this is the first time for everything.
That's why they have a windhoek.
Exactly.
Oh, windhoek draft. Ooh. Why am I sober 5 years?
80% belly.
81.
Sorry, 81.
Not a draw. You know what?
Actually, lost weight, but I lost weight, right?
So you went from 85% to 81. Okay. You know what, Dara? I was just thinking now. Jacques hasn't called a draw in a while.
Yeah, it's a shock, actually. I thought the Dragons scared its game would be prime draw time, but no.
But also, have you heard who the new president of Rugby Australia is?
No.
John Earls.
Oh, John Eales. I thought you were about to say Jacques.
John Eales.
John Eales, so yeah.
Where do you come with Earls? Come on, man.
Eales. Sorry, Eales. My bad. Eales. My
John
handwriting
Eales is
so
a
bad. I can't
legend
even...
rugby player.
Yeah. So he's now the president of Rugby Australia, which is kind of exciting considering how they're going right now. But I would like to know who the predecessor of Smith is, because that person should actually be in the setup right now, in my honest opinion, especially with the Lions tour coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the Lions tour coming up, having a new president, having the coach as part of the setup, that makes transition a lot easier. I do know there's going to be a bit of a mix in it, but that's how I see it. They should already be in the scene, not doing anything, but just watching. So, yeah. And we're still waiting for the Lions team to be announced. Hey?
It's in early May.
Okay, so literally in the next 2-3 weeks.
Which
we will have one, yeah? Yeah, we'll bring... Yeah.
Sure.
We will get that team list up as soon as it comes up, and we'll give our views. Hopefully Finn Russell doesn't make it and someone listens to Nick Mallet. But yeah, that's my honest opinion. Marcus Smith is probably already buying himself a new G-Wagon. Freaking hell, what an idiot. But yeah,
Finn Russell will go. Finn Russell will go.
I
He
do
will.
think Nick Mallet had a very good point saying that if the game isn't revolving around him, he's not going to be that great. And the problem is that someone in the lines is you have to be on the ball and rolling with it. But
Yeah, but you'd
we'll
think
see.
against Australia, with all due respect, that the Lions are going to be physically dominating Australia. You would think that.
But I mean, also the thing is, we also need to understand what is the conversation that Farrell has been having behind the scenes with certain players, because there's obviously been some sort of discussions back and forth with certain players that aren't definite to those who are definite. But yeah, we'll have to see. I've been seeing a lot of people posting up their own teams, which you can kind of see where they come from according to which players are in the setup. But yeah, in other news, Ike Tigers are Varsity Cup winners here in South Africa. And the reason why I bring that up is that number 10 from the Ikes is the leading point scorer for the Varsity Cup tournament in the past, I think, 3-4 years and stuff. And he seems like a very good 10 with a very good head on his shoulders, which is probably something that teams around South Africa have already been paying attention to.
Yes.
Which is nice. I actually quite like these things where... Yeah?
If I'm not mistaken, isn't Manie Lebok? I saw something that Manie Lebok also might go to Leinster.
No, you're thinking of Leicester Tigers.
Sorry, Leicester. Same thing, man.
You can only have 3 non-Irish qualified players, and Leinster will have their 3 with Snyman, Ioane, and Slimani. They can't sign the back. Munster, on the other hand.
But why would you want him?
We don't.
He's with Damien
down
Willems
there.
and Warwick Gelant.
He wins us every game we play against Stormers when he plays, to be fair.
Lovely. Then talking about that, I see there's been some issues with Kurt-Lee Arendse. Well, not so much issues, more discussions from both sides of the table. Japanese clubs wanting him to stay more permanent, Bulls wanting him back. So that's also going to be quite interesting to see how that goes. Yeah. Cheslin Colby.
Going to talk.
Yeah, Cheslin Colby looks like he's gone to a different level right now. I mean, he had an amazing game. He even tackled and turned over the ball from none other than Malcolm Marx.
Yeah.
He's playing in Japanese part-time plumber league, you know.
But it works.
Even Leinster would win the Japanese league, Pats. Come on now. Did they cap on now, lads?
The thing is...
Even a zebra will beat them.
I don't know. But the thing is, the Japanese league works for South Africa. You can't deny it. It works for South Africa because the players don't play... Well, they're playing, but they're not... Yeah, but they're not at like 100% like you would at Super Rugby or URC or Top 14 or something like that. And it then allows them to stay fresh for when they come back for the internationals. And also the fact is the Japanese love the fact that the players that are playing for them are international players. So they're more likely to let the players go play international. So... yeah. But we'll have to wait and see what happens more. I know South Africa should be naming their teams as well in the next month or two, because we need to start getting ready for Italy and Georgia and then the championship. So that should be quite fun to watch. We will definitely be covering those games.
What I enjoy is I saw that they're going to, like the Six Nations They have the under-20 Six Nations that run parallel with it. I see they're going to do it with the championship now as well.
Well, that should have been done a long time ago, in my honest opinion.
I agree. I agree.
It's a championship. It's the under-20 championship. That's held in one country.
No, yeah. So
No,
the championship.
There are talks of having Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa as the
Rugby
the rugby championship goes on. The under-20s goes with it as well.
That's
and
better.
then what?
It works what happens with Six Nations is, in Ireland anyway, is Ireland will play on a Friday night, so everyone will watch the under-20s, and then the senior team will play on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. It gets loads of viewers because there'll be no Six Nations match on a Friday night, so people warm up and watch the 20s, and then they'll watch the senior games.
Oh, and Wales beat England in under-20.
Under-20.
And Wales stopped England win the Grand Slam, the Triple Crown, and what ended up being the tournament because France snuck it off them by beating Scotland.
So yes, but yeah,
never underestimate the underdog.
But this is what I've been saying about Wales. Wales is on the pinnacle. Once they get that win and they get that team right, they are going to be awesome. And I sent a video to Rodri from the Black Feather podcast with the video of Dan Bigger shouting at the players to kick the ball out for half time. And I said, this is what you guys are missing. You guys are missing this in your team. And he actually turned around and said, you are right. We need someone who is going to take the bullet and bite it and make the calls when other people don't want to make the calls. But yes, guys, I think that's all we got time for this week. I just want to say thank you very much to Dara and Jacques. We should be getting a Super Mario. I just can't get that out my head after Dara and the group. we should be getting one of our listeners, Mario, in every now and again, hopefully, with some stats, which will be fun to have someone else also do the stats. But yes, but my fellow champions, Jacques, Dara, stay safe, be well.